merit, positive energy, good karma, good fortune, good luck. They're all synonyms, okay? It's all something that we've accumulated within us. Now, if we're someone who is rich in these positive imprints, in this positive energy, we will be able to manifest whatever we want, whenever we want it.
Welcome back to Mulligan Brothers. Today's video, as always, was sponsored by Huel. I'm drinking Huel Black Edition, which has 26 vitamins and minerals, 35 grams of protein and slow release carbs to make sure that I can stay satiated and proteined up whilst I make these documentaries. If you want to find out more about these, go to the link in the description. I'll talk about them a little bit later on in the video. I love the explanation of it, you know, when we're talking about the spiritual teachings, and it's definitely something that seeps out when we're talking about business, success, entrepreneurship, ambition. Can the mind be used for that thing? Is it wise to be used for achieving those kind of goals?
I met somebody once who said that she was manifesting, right? She was manifesting, and she designed her boyfriend. She got him, she manifested it. She designed everything about him in her mind, like she was practicing this. So let's begin by saying, yes, it works, right? Is it wise? Is it a good idea? I don't believe it is. Why? Well, the ability to create the things you want using the power of thought, using your mind, relies upon what we call in Buddhism merit or positive energy. We say merit, positive energy, good karma, good fortune, good luck. They're all synonyms, okay? It's all something that we've accumulated within us. Now, if we're someone who is rich in these positive imprints, in this positive energy, we will be able to manifest whatever we want, whenever we want it. So people that are really meritorious, have really accumulated a lot of this good stuff, their wishes are fulfilled all the time. Now, good while ago, maybe 20 years ago, I met a guy who was a professional luger, street luger. Now, I don't know if you've heard of that. It's when you lay on a board on wheels, and they do it in ice. It's like a one-man bobsleigh, you know. But he was doing it on the road, going down the side of mountain roads, and he was getting up to like 240 kilometers per hour, a couple of inches off the ground, right? Anyway, I met him at a Buddhist class, and I was assisting that monk. I was setting up the class, and he came early. You know, the interesting thing is that morning, I sort of made a little prayer. I'd like to have a teaching on karma. Anyway, I'm setting up the bits and pieces, the teas and everything for this club. And this guy comes in half an hour early, and he said, "Hello, I've come for the meditation class." I said, "Well, you're early, but you're welcome to have a cup of tea and chat." And you ask him, "What do you do? What do you do for a living?" And he's telling me, and I said, "So what makes you interested in meditation?" And he said, "Would you believe, when I was younger, I used to be able to manifest whatever I wanted." He said, like, if I wanted a girlfriend, I would be able to choose all her features and I would meet her. And then he said, if I wanted any money, if I needed some money, I could almost just choose the amount, and that amount would come into my life. And he said, everything I wished for just appeared in my life. And he said, I went through my whole life like this. And then he said, but now it doesn't happen. He said, now when I wish for something, the opposite happens. And he said, so I'm looking to find out why that is the case. Anyway, that's when I asked him, that's when he told me about the street luging, right? And I thought, like, oh my gosh, like the reason why he was probably successful at that in the beginning was he could visualize the whole race, as a lot of sports people do, and maybe visualize winning and win. But now the opposite is happening when he tries to do it. And I'm thinking, he's going to kill himself. Like, this is very, very dangerous. Anyway, I never saw him again. So I don't know what became of him. But I understand, like, the Buddhist explanation is you only have a finite amount of this positive energy, merit. The way you accumulate it is through the selfless stuff, which we've discussed, you know, being happy for others, selflessly loving them, wishing for them to be happy, particularly suffering in order to help someone. Like all of this activity accumulates this stuff, right? But manifesting worldly wishes depletes it drastically. So it's not wise. It's much more wise to maintain the wish that everybody, including yourself, becomes truly happy. Because then what happens is the way it all appears in your dreamlike reality is everything that you need to become continuously happy, rather than being used on other things which deplete that merit, but they don't replenish it. Whereas when you're always trying to wish for others to be happy, you're just becoming richer and richer and richer. Like the Buddhist view of winning the lottery. You haven't won anything, like you've lost. Like all you're doing is cashing your chips in. Like I remember this story in the paper, like if you run out of this positive energy, merit, good karma, good fortune, you don't know whether the things that come into your life are actually going to work to make you happy, because happiness itself is made of this. Like there was this story of this lady, I think it was Limerick, she won the Euro lottery. She became a millionaire overnight, but her life she became in danger, because where she lived, it became known that she had suddenly become very wealthy. And suddenly her life was in danger. She didn't know who her friends were. And I believe she actually ran away in the night with her family because she couldn't live there anymore. I don't know how much truth is to that story. I just heard the story. But it makes sense that all of that merit had been used up for a sudden acquisition of wealth. But once it was all gone, it just pulled in all these difficult circumstances with it. So that was a long-winded answer to your question, but the answer is yes, it works. Is it a good thing? I don't think so.
If you're like me and millions of other people, you probably lead a busy life, and that's where this stuff comes in absolutely clutch. I know that I just scoop, shake and go, and I'm ready for my day. There are other companies that are trying to do what Huel is trying to do, but they use cheap ingredients. Sometimes it requires you to take 15 pills, or preparing food, trusting supplements with subpar ingredients, and also taking 15 pills a day is just something that we don't all want to do. That's where Huel makes health possible. Black Edition has 40 grams of protein in, 26 vitamins and minerals, and every single ingredient inside this has been carefully selected by Huel's expert team. So you know you're getting the good stuff. Don't just take my word for it. Millions of other people around the world are now using Huel as part of their daily routine. People like Idris Elba, Stephen Bartlett from the Diary of a CEO, Hardest Geezer, the man who ran the entire length of Africa, was using this stuff. If you want to join the movement, go to the link down below where you can get a free t-shirt, a free shaker, and also if you subscribe to Huel, you can get 10% off every single order. This is next freaking level. Go get some.
So the way we build up this is through being good. Being selfless, being kind to others, and
exactly, giving
without expectation. But this is the funny thing about it is, if I said I want to be rich and successful financially, so I'm going to go out there on the streets and I'm going to help people out and be really, really kind, it won't work, because
motivation.
Yeah, you can't have the expectation attached to it.
The underlying motivation is where it's the creator of. It's not just the actions. The actions will have some effect, but the power is the underlying motivation.
That's amazing. So there's no cheat code to it all.
No.
So anyone watching who's looking for £1 million or whatever, you can't just go help people.
Exactly, but it's limited motivation. But why not try it? Like even if it is to become wealthy, like wealth through giving is still like wiser than robbing a bank. Do you know what I mean? Like Buddha gave these teachings, but ideally you use them for spiritual realizations. Otherwise it's like making a bonfire out of sandalwood. Do you know what I mean? Or using a Rolls Royce to move manure around. Using the teachings of enlightenment to become rich is very limited, but it will still function. Like it's still a good activity. Even if you think, right, I'm going to practice giving to become wealthy in the future, that is still a logical process. But if you want power, if you want real good fortune, then you should practice giving because you want others to be happy. It's only when you die that you know whether you've lived a good life. the most definite thing, no matter who you are, what your background is, what you believe, what you don't believe, the most definite thing that's going to happen is death.
What are the practical steps to inner peace?
You should make every decision as though you were making it on your deathbed.